Have you ever paused, I mean truly paused, to imagine the words people would speak at your leadership eulogy?
It's a heavy question to open with.
It is, but this isn't meant to be morbid at all. In fact, the source material we dove into frames this question as this stark, urgent mirror.
A mirror reflecting the legacy you're actively shaping right now, or maybe neglecting.
Exactly. And it immediately shifts your perspective, doesn't it?
It really does. Because for so many leaders, the entire focus is on, the visible stuff, the
The times
metrics.
you can tally. Quarterly results, market share.
Right. And those are essential. Of course they are. But if we only focus there, we completely miss the true measure of success.
Which, according to our sources, is that invisible but enduring impact?
Precisely. We're talking about the culture they leave behind, the people they mentored, the ethical footprint.
The values that sort of ripple out long after they're gone.
And that's the core argument here.
Yeah.
Leadership without a consciously defined legacy is, well, it's adrift.
Like a ship without a rudder.
It's a perfect analogy. You can have the fastest engines, hit all your targets, but you're just sailing in the currents, not charting a course.
And that really defines our mission for this deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
We want to unpack these sources and give you a framework for intentional leadership that lasts.
Moving beyond just the spreadsheet.
Exactly.
Right.
Transforming those daily choices into something that has real, enduring impact.
Right.
So let's get right into the urgency. Why is defining this legacy not just a nice-to-have, but what the sources call an urgent strategic imperative?
Well, the emphasis on urgency is because the pace of change has, frankly, never been faster.
Right.
Organizations are evolving at light speed, and critically, the window a leader has to influence the next generation. It's shrinking.
So in a world of constant disruption, if you don't define your impact now,
The next news cycle or the next market shift will just overwhelm it. It'll be gone.
that brings up a huge strategic risk then. If you don't grab the pen and write your own narrative, you just leave this vacuum.
And someone else will fill it for you. Circumstance, critics, maybe an unfortunate event. Your story gets written, but not by you.
Which leads to a really crucial distinction the sources make. Legacy is not the same thing as accomplishment.
Not at all. It's not about the accolades or the positions you held. It's the enduring impact of every single decision, every conversation.
Every example you set.
Yeah. And if your legacy is misaligned, say you achieved huge financial success, but the culture was toxic, that misalignment quietly undermines a lifetime of work.
You win the quarter, but you lose the company's soul.
You leave behind a crippled culture. That's a powerful warning.
It is. The sources use this great analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership without that intentionality is like building a house on sand.
Short-term success might look dazzling.
Oh, absolutely. It impresses the market.
But it's completely vulnerable to the storms of time and criticism. It just won't last.
And this connects to some pretty timeless wisdom, doesn't it?
It does. There's a reference to Proverbs about a way that seems right to a person, but its end is the way of death.
And that's not just a spiritual warning.
No, it's a warning against unexamined leadership. Those clever, expedient decisions, if they compromise your core values, they have consequences that go far beyond your own tenure. The urgency is clear. You have to be a conscious architect.
Okay, so if intentionality is the foundation, we need a map. I really like how the sources provide this holistic view. Legacy across 4 intertwined dimensions.
It's not just one thing, you're right. It all starts at the micro level, the human element, the relational legacy.
Impact on individuals.
Exactly. The people you mentor, guide, empower. It's measured in trust, in wisdom shared, often one person at a time.
The quality of your relationships defines the quality of your impact.
That's it. I mean, think about Moses mentoring Joshua. He wasn't just giving him a job description.
No.
He was transferring decades of wisdom, of character formation, of vision. That personal investment is what lets a vision carry on to the next generation.
Then we zoom out a bit, from the personal to the organizational legacy.
Which is critical for anyone in a structured environment. This is about shaping the institutions, the systems, the culture, so they outlast you.
The sources mention Nehemiah rebuilding Jerusalem's walls.
Right, and he wasn't just managing a construction project. He was setting up organizational structures, security protocols, systems that endured long after he left.
So in a modern context, that's like setting up feedback loops or institutionalizing values.
It is. It's the difference between a company that relies on the genius of one founder and a company whose culture is so strong it can thrive through multiple leadership changes.
The systems are the scaffolding.
Perfect way to put it. Then we get to the deep stuff. the spiritual legacy. The sources call it the eternal footprint.
I love that phrase.
It's about transmitting faith and core values that point people to something bigger than themselves. It's about anchoring your why. The example used is Abraham, whose faith shaped generations.
And for a leader today, that means aligning your goals with eternal purposes, not just worldly metrics.
Exactly. And finally, that brings us to the moral legacy.
The ethical framework.
Yes, defined by what is right and just. Building cultures of integrity, honor, accountability. It's so relevant today when one ethical lapse can destroy a company overnight.
King David is the example here, right?
Yes, and despite his huge failures, he left behind this orientation toward truth and repentance. Legacy isn't about being perfect. It's about the direction you're headed.
Okay, so those are the 4 dimensions, the destination. But to get there, the sources say we need 4 sturdy pillars to hold it all up.
And pillar 1 is the absolute cornerstone, character and integrity.
Without that.
Everything else is fleeting. All the dazzling achievements, they just don't last.
And it's probably the hardest one to maintain under pressure.
Oh, absolutely. The sources point to Daniel in Babylon. He faced incredible political pressure but stood firm. His integrity is why his leadership became legendary. He was the same person in public as he was in private.
Pillar 2 is mentorship and influence. This one gets a lot of lip service, but
It does, but the sources argue it's non-negotiable. Investing in your successors isn't optional. It multiplies your influence exponentially.
a force multiplier, not a time sink.
That's the reframe. Look at Paul's deep investment in Timothy. It was a strategic leadership development program. That's why the movement survived the founder.
That makes so much sense. Okay, pillar 3, strategic vision and long-term thinking,
This is the complete opposite of that quarter-to-quarter mentality.
which is everywhere today.
It is.
Yeah.
Here, every decision is an investment in the future. You weigh choices against their future impact. The case study is Joseph in Egypt.
Planning for 14 years ahead.
Exactly. That careful management of resources secured a generational legacy. It's the power of delaying gratification for a profound long-term impact.
Which is incredibly hard when Wall Street is demanding results now.
It's the ultimate test of leadership courage. And finally, pillar 4, faith and spiritual impact.
This is the anchor.
It's the anchor. It's ensuring your definition of success is rooted in something bigger, that your goals align with eternal purposes. It reminds us that whatever we do, we work as for the Lord, not for men.
So leadership that neglects this pillar, it might look successful on the surface.
It may achieve impressive worldly success, but it risks leaving no meaningful spiritual imprint behind.
So that framework gives us the map and the support structure. Now, how do we execute? The sources offer this one, central, really actionable exercise. Crafting your leadership eulogy.
It sounds a bit introspective, maybe even morbid, like we said at the top.
Right, and there's a danger it could become an ego exercise.
There is, but the sources warn against that. This isn't about bragging, it's a feedback loop. You articulate your desired legacy, and then you measure your daily actions against that aspiration.
Okay, so break that down. How is it actionable?
You literally write out the values you want to be remembered for, say, integrity or faith-driven courage. Then you detail the tangible contributions you want to have made.
Across those relational, organizational, and spiritual spheres?
Right. And then most importantly, you articulate the lessons you'd leave for your successors. If your calendar today doesn't reflect any of those values,
You know immediately where the misalignment is.
it turns this abstract idea of legacy into a practical roadmap, something you can audit every week.
But if a leader neglects that roadmap, they fall into the shadow side. And achievement alone won't save them. Let's talk about those dangers.
We can break the warning signs into 4 big categories. First and foremost is just short-term thinking.
The temptation of our time.
It really is. Measuring success only in quarterly reports leads to rapid growth, sure, but often a fractured culture after you leave. Leaders who chase immediate results often sacrifice R&D, they neglect retention,
They erode the foundation.
and that usually links right to the second danger, neglecting personal growth.
So ignoring your own blind spots.
Absolutely. Ignoring character flaws or accountability, it undermines even the most brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
King Saul is the classic example. He was chosen for success, but his unchecked pride and envy.
It eroded everything.
It fractured his kingdom. Strategy cannot save you if your character is corrosive.
Third, we have relational mismanagement.
Leadership is fundamentally relational. Decisions that ignore the human side of things, that fail to build trust, they just fracture your influence so quickly.
Saul's envy of David.
A perfect case study. His personal insecurity led to organizational infighting, wasted resources, missed opportunities. When relational trust goes, your key talent walks out the door.
And finally, the disaster of organizational blind spots.
This is the failure to prepare the systems and the people for continuity. In other words,
Succession planning.
zero succession planning. An unprepared or, worse, an ethically compromised successor can unravel years of achievement. You have to institutionalize the culture so it can survive beyond your own charisma.
This whole deep dive really shows that legacy isn't some mythical thing that happens after you retire. It's intentional.
It's cultivated.
Not in grand gestures, but in every single choice, every word, every relationship. It's about transforming ordinary moments into enduring influence.
It's about building a life, not just a career. And it brings up a really important question for every leader listening, one that comes right from the source material.
What's that?
What ethical or relational compromises are you tempted to accept right now for that short-term gain? And how might resisting those temptations secure a legacy that truly matters?
A legacy that echoes eternally.
That is the core decision. Every single day, do you prioritize the fleeting win that looks good on the report?
Or the lasting value that secures the character and future of your team.
The path to a lasting legacy starts with clarity today and commitment tomorrow. Don't leave your final story to chance.
Seize the pen.
Seize the pen and start writing the greatest chapter of your leadership right now.